Welcome to a Friday Reads, where I talk about what I read, what I'm reading, what I hope to get to next, and it's such a good week, but it's such a bad week. I am loving everything I am reading, and I have no time to read. It is maddening. Because I'm having to build a course that's going to go live soon. I want to get most of that settled before I go on a brief trip over spring break. And I just got new yarn that I want to mess with. And I'm in the tail end of Bones, and we're watching Shogun. And so I'm loving everything, and I have no time to read. And I am very excited for some plane rides where I get to sink into some of these. First, I started our buddy read for Patreon, Broken Stars. I'm really liking this. And I forget, I mean, I was in the mood to read it anyways, and then it did kind of pair well with the fact that I'm watching Shogun, which I know is Japanese, not Chinese. I get that. But in terms of cultures I am not as familiar with, it's kind of a similar thing. And I think I was also consuming something else Kenlu adjacent. I don't know why. But I decided to read the intro of this and then the essays at the back to help me inform what I'm going to find in here. I found it fascinating. I'm now even more mad about happened at Worldcon last year, which is where the Hugos take place, and I do have a Hugos drama videos part 1 and 2. If you really want to know, I'm really just, because of how hard it is for this fandom to thrive, and also any person in the universe who's like, literature's not political. The fact that there are so many gaps in the history of science fiction in Chinese can show you how political art can be. So anyways, I also just really love, so Kenlu at the start of this is like, this is not a greatest hits collection. I tried to do a broad reach, but my main thing was, if I thought it was memorable, if I thought it was interesting, I thought about it for this collection. And I just really like that whole idea of like, listen, I have faith in my taste, but how much you're gonna like this is based on how much our tastes align. And I read the first story in this. It came out 10 years ago. It was translated when this came out, which is I think 2019, but the actual original text was 2015. And its conversation with AI, specifically maybe through chatbot or companion AI, is fascinating in today's lens. And it was going back and forth between our futuristic time with this person and their AI companions, and them dealing with isolation and depression, and then pairing it with Turing and his machine Christopher, and the conversations that are postulated to happen. I think they, author's note, did kind of claim that some of it was fiction, some of it's based on fact, but I don't know enough to parse it. And I just think it's so interesting, and how our conversations have changed so much, because we are still less using AI in terms of like a tool to help us, and more discussing it in terms of ethics because we have to, because we don't have the ethical part lined up. It's hard to use it as a tool when also you're hitting yourself with the tool. Does that make sense, right? Like, hammers are useful when you learn how to use a hammer correctly and aren't hitting your thumb while you're putting something into a wall, and we're still hitting our thumb. So that was a very strong start. I'm excited. Have I read anything since Sunday on this? No, because I've had no time, and I only have a physical of this. I even liked that first story so much that I reread the first part of it. Like, because whenever you first jump into a short story, you're like, where am I? And so to be grounded again, knowing the project of it, was very interesting. Its themes of connection and the qualities of connection, I'm very excited. And I generally do like what Ken Liu finds interesting, so I think I'm going to like a lot of what's in this, and I'm probably going to have to pick up the first collection he put together. It was called Invisible Planets. So yeah, very cool. What to talk about next? I'm reading 3 things, and they're all so good. I'll start with the one that's in my lap. This is going to be a personality book. And what I mean by that is, if you've been on this channel with me for a while, there are books that I yell about that I know don't have wide appeal, that I know probably aren't that good, but they are for me. They are my personality. I love them. I'm attached. Please be gentle when you dislike them. You know, that sort of thing. And that's going to be Ocean's Godori. I am 67% of the way through. I am already crafting an email in my head to reach out to this publisher and be like, so can I have the second one? Because the second one comes out this summer. And I already know I'm going to need it because I am obsessed with Ocean. Ocean is our main character here. She is awesome. I haven't loved a character this much in a while, and I loved her the minute I met her. You meet her at a dinner place. I forget what it's called. I think it's just like Korean barbecue. Yeah, it was a Korean barbecue place because this is very Korean, American sci-fi inspired type work. And she's just looking across the table, looking at her partner, going like, I wonder how long he's been sleeping with her, like the person next to him. And she's not like upset about it. There are very few things that upset her. She's not quite the stereotypical like cold, abrasive person. She's just really blunt and rational and very protective of herself. But then she's also ride or die for people she cares about. And this has our second main character, Teo, is like her best friend. And it's not best friends to lovers or anything like that. They're just like platonic soulmates. And I love it. And I want more of it, and they're finally like with each other again. Like there was a scene in here where they just did like a casual friendship thing for a chapter, and I ate it up because it's just so reminiscent of things I used to do with my best friend when we were near each other. Like if you like platonic ride or die, this. And I just like Ocean and Teo, and we have another character who's growing on me. And then the plot itself is just actually kind of interesting. It's engaging, and we just got into a thing that's like very like, this feels Firefly-ish. Like ish, that's the closest sci-fi I can relate it to. It's definitely has some gruesome, gory scenes in it. It's got heist energy. It's got you were wronged by your, political entity. I wouldn't say this is cozy. I wouldn't say this is hopeful, but I am loving it, and I don't think it's also like dreary or super dark. It's that middle ground. I'm loving it. I was searching for a sci-fi book of last year that would have been my thing. It would have been this one. If I had read this last year, this is what I would have been screaming at everyone about. I'm so glad I picked it because the cover shouted at me, and because when I did TBR Spin, it was pick a cover read. Oh, I'm loving it. So much. Do I think it's for everyone? No. So if you read this and you're like, Angela, I didn't like it that much. I went into this saying, this is my personality. This is the closest I've gotten to Pacific Rim middle game territory, which the overlap of all three of those is ride or die platonic connections. At least that's my headcanon for Pacific Rim. I know it's ambiguous, but that's my headcanon. Okay, another thing I'm reading is Green Teeth. Yes, Green Teeth. So this is a new release. I think it comes out this month. I got it through Libro FM. I will link them down below. They're an audiobook subscription service a la Audible. You pay like $15 a month, you get a credit, you get a book, and that credit you buy, the profits go to a local bookstore of your choice. I send my money to the Brookline Booksmith because I miss them. And you get 10 credits a month as an influencer, and one of them was Green Teeth. And I'm like, ooh, people keep saying, is it like T. Kingfisher? I'm like, let's see. And I see the comps. I see it. I still don't think it feels like T. Kingfisher, but I do think it's a good, if you like T. Kingfisher, try this. Like, I think that's a good recommendation tree to think about. It reminds me of Nettle and Bone meets Thornhedge if I'm picking between two T. Kingfisher works. But at the same time, the main character of this are Jenny. She is not like most T. Kingfisher characters. She is spoiled and abrasive and kind, but she's not human. She's amazing. I really like her. She's a water creature. There's a lot of like secondary fae you get to meet in this book. They have to go on a quest to solve a problem in this village. We're building a team of people. It's very like Nettle and Bone in that way. We start isolated with our one character talking about her life in the lake and how she stumbles into the problems of this person who got thrown in her lake, and the quest ensues from there. It's very voicey. As an audiobook, since it's first person, it's been amazing. I really like the audio narrator. So like this has been really fun. Hasn't been quite the level of audiobook I've been needing when I'm brain dead and stressed after work, because my mind will wander during the action scenes, but it's also not like the end of the world because like I don't really care about action scenes. But yeah, I think the comps make sense. I am really, really enjoying it. But it's not like one where I'm like, yeah, let's work on my crochet project to keep listening to it. It's not like that propulsive. Like when I was working on other knitting things, I put on Bones. So it's like probably going to be a 4.5. That's my prediction. And then the other thing I'm reading that I really, 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 really want to sink into, because ideally I would have been reading Ocean's Gadori before bed, but I'm immersion reading this. I don't know if I brought that up. This is Korean-American author, so it has a lot of Korean slang, words, names, and the pronunciation is not happening in my brain. And the audiobook has great voice acting for the characters and pronounces all those things, so it's a complete 100% immersion read. So that means I'm not reading this without the audiobook. I'm also not listening to the audiobook without this. So I needed a physical that wasn't one that I didn't have on an ebook. So that's why I'm in the middle of like 4 things. And so I started The Incandescent by Emily Tesh. Oh, it's going to be so good. It's going to be so good. I am so early days in this. It reminds me a little bit of Wednesday, if you've seen the show, where we have, I think in our world, a school for people with magical talents. And they have to be brought here because if they are not trained, demons just show up. Okay? And our main character is the headmistress, headmaster, whatever we're calling her, of this school. And she's amazing. Like, I don't think I've ever read a school book from the perspective of the administrator. And so there's two forces. The people who run the school, including herself, she's not only like the headmaster, but she also teaches a class in her subject matter because she's the one who can handle specifically the demon part of the spell work based off her experience. But then you also have this other part that's supposed to protect people from demons. So these are like kind of the exorcists. These are the people who are trained to get rid of demons. And she kind of butts heads with them, but also has to play politics, and I think has a crush. I think it's going to be Sapphic. Anyways, the voice of this main character is also great for me. Basically, what I'm saying is between Green Teeth, Ocean's Gadori, and The Incandescent, I am in love with the characters I am engaging with. It's amazing. I'm having a really, 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 really good time. Do I get to read after I film this? No. I have to film another video for you guys. You're welcome. Because I won't be able to film it this weekend like I normally do. And I gotta film about the metric system for my students, which is less fun, but necessary. The last thing I will chat about is that I got amazing publisher mail. So Saga Press is as a publisher, I'm still working on getting them to be like, hey, I'm here. And they just sent me an email the other day about a different book that I don't have yet. Otherwise, I'd show you. But in that email, I'm like, oh, that's cool, thanks. But also, I was wondering, do you have The Buffalo Hunter by Stephen Graham Jones? Do you still have copies? Because I would like that. Because it's an expensive time to be buying books. And guys, look at it, it's here! Ah! And it's so pretty. Now, I know on my TBR I was a teenage slasher, and I might still read that. But also, Libro FM had the audio for this, so I could read this. And also, there is a chance, I was talking with my friend Brittany, she might want to buddy read Model Home, so I might just read this instead. It just depends. But I'm just incredibly excited that I have Buffalo Hunter. Let's just put it that way. I'm just so excited. So yeah, it's a really strong reading month. I'm in a good mood. I'm just a little overwhelmed because I always feel like somehow like the 2 days before a vacation, I have too many things to do, and yet I still find my way to distraction land and procrastinationville. Like, I need to pack. I don't know how to dress for spring right now. And it's definitely going to be spring to summer weather where I'm going, so I have to go find shorts. And that terrifies me. If you know, you know. All right, so let me know what you're reading, doing, watching. I don't know, if you got anything that's bringing you joy, share it. And if you just want to leave an emoji to let me know you're here, I already had you leave something for Ocean's Gadori on a TBR. So let's do something green for Green Teeth, because that is also fun. And otherwise, like if you liked it, subscribe if you want to, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.